Were the Cleveland Indians libel-chilled into dropping their Chief Wahoo logo during their Toronto visit last weekend? Because that's what it sure looks like to me, Kimosabe. Well, it was announced many moons ago that 2018 would be the farewell tour for the Chief Wahoo logo that is worn by the Cleveland Indians. Beginning next year, the team will be sporting the new permanent logo, you know, that boring C that they use in some games already. Yeah, it's a capital C, C as in crappy. Gee, who came up with that logo anyways? Presumably the same design firm that the former Ontario Liberal government hired to render the logo for the Ontario cannabis stores for only $650,000. Gee, have Etch-a-Sketch will travel. But meanwhile, back at the ballpark, the Cleveland Indians have been wearing the Chief Wahoo logo on one sleeve of their uniforms for the entire 28 season. However, when Cleveland visited Toronto last weekend to play those Blue Jays, as CFRB's Jim Richards likes to say, well, the Chief Wahoo logo had been removed from the jerseys too. Here's the lead from a story in the Cleveland Plain Dealer about the uniform censorship. Quote, Manager Terry Francona said the decision not to wear Chief Wahoo on their uniforms or caps during this 4-game series at Rogers Centre in Toronto was made by the organization to show respect for anyone offended by the soon-to-be discontinued logo. We're just trying to be respectful, said Francona. We're never trying to be disrespectful by wearing it. We just want to do the respectable thing, end quote. That explanation raises more questions than it answers, actually, mainly because that Chief Wahoo logo is either entirely disrespectful or it isn't, which is to say, why was the logo expunged in the recent series against Toronto, yet it will be on full display this month when the Indians visit such cities as Tampa Bay, Chicago, and Kansas City? My guess is that the Indians waved the white flag of surrender in Hogtown because they didn't want the hassle of being sued by anyone that was offended again. I mean, when the Indians played the Blue Jays in the American League Championship Series 2 years ago, Douglas Cardinal, a native activist, filed a complaint against Major League Baseball and the Cleveland Indians regarding the logo. No, not in a real court of law, mind you, but in that kangaroo court known as a Human Rights Commission. While the complaint never went anywhere, I think the Indians were just so libel-chilled last weekend by the prospect of someone like Cardinal taking the franchise to a real court of law. While it would surely be a losing cause for the complainant, who needs this sort of distraction during a pennant race? Sad, isn't it? And it's doubly sad given that sports team native nicknames and logos are actually meant to honor native culture, not mock it, as the progressives wrongfully attest. Even the majority of natives don't have a problem with native-themed logos and nicknames. After all, a poll commissioned in 2016 by the Washington Post found that almost 9 out of 10 Native Americans are not offended by the Washington Redskins name. Redskins, of course, is supposed to be the most offensive nickname and logo in the entire wide world of sports. But alas, in acquiescing to the politically correct crowd, the Cleveland Indians won't be lauded. Rather, they'll be further hounded. Indeed, while Chief Wahoo will be forever vanquished as of next season, you can expect the usual suspects to clamor for Cleveland to change its nickname too. The Indians should have never thrown in the towel. Rather, to use a cowboy term, they should have circled the wagons. In the final analysis, too bad this increasingly wimpy franchise doesn't put as much effort into, winning as it does into being politically correct. Because if I was a Cleveland Indians baseball fan, the thing I'd be most offended over right now is the fact that the last time this franchise won a World Series, Harry S. Truman was president. Losers! For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, The Rebel has a new app. Please download that app and take The Rebel with you wherever you go.